Hello student, today we will see that how you can fetch the data from the database and display in command prompt, or you can say that how you can display the data from the database. So for that we have to import SQL package. So just we write import java.sql.star, and for the input output functions we just import IO package. So we just write import java.io.star. Then after we create one class that is name defined as show data. For that we just create one class, so public class show data. Now in show data class we just define our void main method. So public static void main method, or you can also define using constructor. You can also directly uh, access this, or you can directly define the coding in the main method, or you can also use constructor, and then after you can create object in main method. Either both of method you can work it. So now I use the main method, and in main method I create one connection object, then after result set object. Then after all the basic business logic task is applied in try block. If any runtime exception is generated, so we can just avoid it. So for that we write all the connection oriented statements right in a try block. In the try block, we just write class dot for name method, which is used to just apply our database driver, or we can say that to connect with database driver with our application. We use the class dot for name method. In the for name method, we just define the database driver name. So we just write net dot you can access dot jdbc dot you can access driver. Here we connect with ms access. So just simple using you can access driver manager applied, and you can access driver driver file is applied. So this is the class dot for name. Then after we just apply get connection method. So driver manager is used to handles all the database driver. So we just apply driver manager dot get connection method, and in the get connection method we pass parameter as the database path, which we reside in our local system. Or for that we just write that the database path in my PC, that is in D drive in BC folder, and in program folder, that is the database, and we just apply extension .accdb. Now you can use MS Access. So for that using you can access, we provide the connectivity with MS Access. We cannot directly connect JDK8 with MS Access. So using you can access, we apply that. For that we just write JDBC colon you can access. Now to provide the a request to the database, or we can say that we have to apply the query to the database. For that statement is needed. So we just create statement method. There is a simple statement or simple query is there. For that we just use normal statement class object s, and for that using connection object we just create statement method. Then after we applied execute query method and select star from table name. So using a statement object, we apply execute query method, and it is written result set, which is stored the database or executed the query. It is written by result set written type. So it is stored in result set object R. Then after we just print column names. So for that which type of data you can get from the database, it is displayed. So using system.out.println, we just write ID, name and city as a column name. Then after we just apply the uh, indentation. Now we apply that is for that /t. Now we just use while loop. So in the while loop, using next method, we can fetch one by one data that is stored in our row or in table. In while loop, we just fetch the data. For that, we use get integer method, get string method to fetch the integer type of data and string type of data. Generally, in JDBC, you can use different data types methods to fetch the different types of data. For that integer type, we have get integer, and in the get integer method, you have to pass column name, or we can say that field name. First here the column name is id, so we pass as a id as a column name, and in it is defined in double quotation. Then after we have to fetch the name, which is our second column in the table. So using getString method, we just fetch getString, and in the bracket we pass column name as name. Then after we fetch city, so r dot getString method, and in getString method we pass column name city in double quotation, and that is the you can fetch the data from the database. The data type name you have to just apply using get method. Normally just get setter method is used to set the value and get the value. So this is our value. It is over. Now we just close the connection. So using connection object, we call the close method. So c.close method, and that is the try block is also over. Then after we use catch block, if any error is occurred in try block, so it is handled by the catch block. So in the catch block, we pass parameter as exception object e, and in catch block we just write system dot out dot println, and in we just note it as error and display if any error occur. So the system defined message is displayed. Also user defined message error is also displayed. So for that e dot get message method is called to display the system message if any exception is occurred. Now we close the program, or save the close the curly bracket and save the data, save the program as show data.java. Then after it is save show data.java. Now we open command prompt Now we move on to the D drive. Then in the folder, to move on the folder, cd space folder name, and here is the program our java c show data dot java. Now we run the java show data and enter. So you can see that display data is here. Hello student. Today we will see that how you can use a prepared statement in Java database connectivity. So first of all, we just import packages that is used to connect with the database. That is the first one, import java.sql.star. Then after we import java.io.star, that is used for uh, basic input output functions used in Java. Then after we create one class that is prepared. Then in that class we define public static void main method. Then after string arguments. This is the basic structure of Java to create any type of class. Then in the void main method, we create a connection object, that is the C, and we define as null. Basically, you do not have to define null value or anything. You can only just create connection object. Then after we create prepared statement object. Uh, Here we see that you must have to uh, I I can say that you have to check the basic basic syntax when you used any default class. So here prepared statement in this P capital S capital. Then after we just use try block to avoid the our basic runtime exception if any occur. Then here we just add class dot for name method to connect with or to register the database in or to register the database driver. So net.youcanaccess.jdbc.youcanaccess driver. Then after you have to just connect with database, use driver manager dot get connection method, and in this method you have to pass parameter, that is JDBC dot youcanaccess dot JDBC colon youcanaccess colon, then after the path where you reside your database. In this program I reside in D drive. So just apply slash for to use path, and yes, in this assigning this path you have to use double slash. So for forward and backward both slash are needed. Then this path is defined, that is DBC program, and this is our database, that is student underscore info dot scdb. Over the double quotation and apply the semicolon, and memory is equal to false. So here we define memory is equal to false to load the or to clear the memory or to run the youcanaccess driver efficiently. We just define memory is equal to false. Then after we just create query or we just create a statement that is the prepared statement. So to apply that query in the prepared statement, we just create one string that contains query, our insert query. So here we create a string object and it contains insert into student. So in the student table there are 3 columns: ID, name and city. So we just name that column ID, name, city, then after values, and here we just pass parameter using getter setter method. So in this syntax we just apply question mark and semicolon. Now we create a prepared statement, use a prepared statement object P is equal to connection object using prepared statement method. So here prepared statement, in the prepared statement method just pass a string query object or string object s, which is in this program we define. So then after we set the value of id, name and age column of the table. So to set the value of integer type, here id is integer type of data, so p dot set integer. Id is our first column, so first parameter is column number, that is 1, and the second is value of the data. So here the fifth record we inserted, so the 1 column 1 comma 5. Then after the second is set the name, so set string method used and the second column. So first parameter is 2 and the name is Nisha, that is added. And then after the city, so the third column is set string in method. We just pass 2 parameter 3 and Ahmedabad. So this is our you can add this way. You can set the value of the in the table, and now we execute this query. So using prepared statement object, we just apply execute update method, and then after updation is done, we have to see that updation is done or not. So we just write that record is inserted. So here we write one record is inserted, and then after we just close the connection. So c dot connection object is c, so c dot close, and then after we just over the try block, and now we just create catch block, and in the catch block we pass parameter exception. Here the object is e, and in catch block we just write that system.out.println using to print the manual message, error message, if any error is occurred. That is the error, and we also print out the user that is a system defined message, or is done by the system, that is e.get message method, which is defining JDK. So here we over the catch block, and also over our main class, main method, and also over the class, that is prepare class. So we just save that using prepare.java. So just change it name, prepare demo. And so we copy this name and prepare demo.java and save it. So this way you can pass the parameter in program using query. So now compile this program. Java C prepare demo .java, and now run Java prepare demo and enter. I think the database is open. So we just compile. So this you see that your database is insert the value which is entered by program. So we check that record is inserted or not. So we open our access database, that is student underscore info. So you can use different statement to enter the data. So this way you see that the record is inserted, that is the